Well, the reason they didn't make peace is because the underlying problem preventing peace is not Israel's willingness to make a territorial compromise, even a very generous one.
Can we get peace with the Palestinians? We have just been through over 600 days of war since October 7, 2023. And we have just been through 12 days of war with Iran. We have fought with Hezbollah, with the Houthis, with Hamas. But at the end of the day, what's going to be the Palestinians? Please listen in to our Prime Minister, Mr. Bibi Netanyahu, who's going to address this question that we keep on asking. And hopefully he'll be able to give you some good clarity. Please listen in. Kindly subscribe to our channel so we can continue on spreading a little bit of light, which is going to push away a lot of darkness. Here is Mr. Netanyahu.
Can we get peace with the Palestinians, which is what you're asking me?
Yes.
It depends, one. Yeah, we're going to talk about that more. I just wanted to get get my commercial in so you understand how great an investment Israel is. Remember the joke? How do you make a big fortune, a small fortune in Israel? Start with a big fortune? No. No.
Apparently they have not heard this.
No, it's changed. You make big fortunes in Israel. But the important thing is, how do we change our fortune with our Palestinian neighbors? Why is it that we don't have peace? Why? Well, is it this government? Is it me? There were 5 other prime ministers since Oslo, since the peace process began. How come they didn't make peace? Well, the reason they didn't make peace is because the underlying problem preventing peace is not Israel's willingness to make a territorial compromise, even a very generous one. It's that after Gaza, Israelis ask a question. What happens when we set up a Palestinian state on the other side? Do we get a state that lives in peace with us? Or do we get a state that seeks to destroy us and fires thousands of rockets on our heads? Israel went through the book. It went by the book. It left Gaza to the last square centimeter. It took away all the settlements, skipped freeze, just took them apart. It even disinterred people from their graves. Handed the keys over to Abu Mazen, who promptly lost it to Hamas, even though they were only 3,000 strong then and he had 15,000 troops. They kicked him out. Now we have 30,000 Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and they fired, 15,000, 16,000 rockets on Israel from Gaza since. The same thing happened to us in Lebanon. We left Lebanon to the last square inch. We got not Hamas, we got another proxy of Iran, Hezbollah, and they fired about 15,000 rockets on us. So Israelis ask a simple question, which I ask. If we were to set up a Palestinian state, how do we make sure that that state does not become another Gaza and is not committed to our destruction and doesn't work to our destruction? The answer to that falls into 2 categories. One, and these are not conditions for entering talks. I have no conditions for entering talks. I'm willing to meet up. You should invite Abu Mazen here. That's what you really should do. You should invite him and me. I'm sitting here. I'm willing to wait. Knesset can wait. Fine. We'll see if he comes. I am willing to enter the talks without any conditions. And for the last 7 years, Abu Mazen deigned to talk to me for 6 hours. 6 hours. That's it. How could you make progress on the issues I'm going to talk about in a minute if you won't meet and talk? That doesn't mean that the charges aren't leveled at us. They always are. But I'm talking about facts. These are facts. Now, in order to avoid another Gaza, which is the opposite of peace, you need 2 things. First, you have to make sure that the Palestinian state that is formed is not committed to Israel's destruction, that it ends all demands, recognizes Israel, and doesn't seek to flood it with the descendants of refugees, any more than I would seek to flood the Palestinian state with the descendants of settlers. Do you agree, Mr. Abbas? refuses to answer that. That's what we mean by a nation state of the Jewish people. Palestinians go there if they choose, and Jews go to Israel if they choose. Can we have that arrangement? Mutual recognition of two nation states. That's the first term. The second thing is, what happens if things go awry? What happens if this territory is taken over the way Gaza was taken over? Then we need a long-term security presence of Israel to assure that doesn't happen. And right now, I don't see any other force. I don't see any other force. I mean, who's going to do it? Austrian peacekeepers? We tried that on the Golan Heights. These two conditions of mutual recognition and security arrangements, I think, do we see that likely right now in the immediate future? No. Is this the right formula, I think, down the line? Yes. Can it happen? I don't think the Palestinians will necessarily accept it by themselves, but I think because of the change that is happening in the region, because there's a huge change happening in the region, it might be that leading Arab countries might encourage a future Palestinian leadership, or even this one, to accept that kind of deal. And if that happened, I think Israelis would go for it. They'd go for something that they thought was mutual recognition and that was secure.
After 77 years of battling and battling, war after war after war, we all want peace. We just want to live and let live. And as Mr. Netanyahu said it so clearly, if the Palestinians were to recognize Israel's right to exist, then we can begin negotiating, we begin talking. But until then, there's no way, no possibility to be able to even talk about peace. Would you like to have a neighboring country who chants and sings every day death to you? That's not called living. That's not called living neighborly. So we have been through so much in the last 77 years. Now there is a chance. Now there is a chance that something good can come out of the Middle East. The Abraham Accords is taking shape. Many Arab countries are considering normalizing relations with Israel, recognizing Israel. And when that begins to happen, then perhaps they all together can approach the Palestinians and bring them to the negotiating table, where they too can recognize Israel, and Israel can recognize the Palestinians as well. Saudi Arabia was so close in normalizing relations with Israel when October 7 happened. And that's one of the reasons why October 7 happened. October 7 happened because Iran wanted to railroad and to stop Saudi Arabia from recognizing Israel. Because once Saudi Arabia recognizes Israel's right for existence, and they're able to normalize relationships, have diplomatic relations with each other, then the next Arab countries will follow suit. And they will be able to have an actual peaceful Middle East. So let's pray and we hope that that happens speedily in our days. God bless you. God loves you.